Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. We are going to be making a frilly wind spinner today. As you can see, it's a very simple pattern. It's made up of double crochets, single crochets and some chains. It's just to give it a nice little frilly edge. And we're also going to be making a little decoration for the bottom. It's really nice actually because I haven't chained this time. I've just done a simple loop for hanging. They actually spin independently of each other as well. So it's a really nice little touch. It makes it a little bit different to the other spinners out there. I've made this one using 100% cotton, but that's purely because of the colours that I wanted to use for this project. So there's nothing wrong with using acrylic at all. If anything, acrylic would be better because it would end up a bigger spinner, whereas this is quite small actually. It's only about sort of 7 centimetres across. So yeah, if you did it in acrylic, it would be much bulkier, much more like the other size, my rainbow spinner pattern. So to make this one, all you're going to need is a 3mm crochet hook, a 2mm crochet hook, because we're going to be using this to make the decoration for the bottom, and then your choice of yarns. I think that's pretty much everything that we need for today, so we'll crack on and get started. So to begin, we're going to be using our 3mm crochet hook, and we're going to start with a slip knot and create a chain of 51 stitches. I've done 40 there. I'm just going to finish off the last 11. It's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. For anyone that needs any help with creating a slip knot and how to begin your starting chains, there are instructions at the beginning of my other spinner video, the rainbow crochet spinner, and I'm also planning to do some basic instructional videos very shortly, so hopefully by the time you've seen this it'll all be there if you do need any extra help. Okay, so we've got our 51. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be starting by single crocheting. So I'm going to be using US terms, so single crochet in US terms or a double crochet in UK terms, and we're going to be crocheting all the way along, starting in the second chain from the hook. So not this first one here, this second one here. So simply insert your hook, yarn over once, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both, and we're going to be doing that all the way along until we've got 50, because that's what we'll have at the end. Obviously it's up to you how long or how short you make your crochet spinner. I'm just doing 50 for the purposes of the video. If I was to make one at home, I'd probably do I don't know, a 70 chain, just for that bit of extra length, because the ornament on the bottom is that little bit bigger than the tassel from the last video. But it's entirely personal choice, of course. Lots of people out there do 100 long ones and they're ginormous. So it depends where you're going to put them and whether it's going to be indoors or outdoors. Okay, so I'm going to continue putting these single crochets in until the end. I will pause the video here and meet you back in a second to start round 2. Now we've come to the end of round 1. We are going to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to turn our work, so we're now working along the back, the wrong side, and this is really simple. So starting in the same stitch that you've just done your chain 3, we're going to be crocheting a double crochet in US terms or a treble in UK terms. So we've got a treble there, and our chain 3 counts as our first treble or double. Okay, so then we're going to double crochet twice into the next stitch, 1 and 2, and again in every stitch along. So double crochet twice, or a double crochet increase if you prefer, in every stitch to the end. Again, if you have any trouble with the stitches, or you're not sure how to do them properly, or you're confused with the UK versus US terms, I've got lots of videos that I'm going to be posting over the next few days, explaining all of these different things in really simple, easy and slow showing videos, because I found that when I was learning crochet myself, so many videos out there, but they all go so fast that you can't keep up as a beginner. And as a beginner, you really need everything slowed down. So I'm going to be making quite a lot of these videos in the next few days. So hopefully it'll help you guys out. Okay, so for round 2, it's the chain 3, and in the same space as the chain 3, you're going to be creating a double crochet in US terms or a treble in UK terms. And then you're going to be putting 2 double crochets in each stitch along until the end. And as before, again, I'll let you work that up. I'm going to pause the video now and I'll meet you back there at the end. Okay, so now we've reached the end of round 2, and it's time to move on to the third and final round of our mint green. You should see something that's starting to resemble a wind spinner. It can be a bit kinked and all over the place, but don't worry about that. You haven't gone wrong. That's mine at the moment. You haven't gone wrong. Don't panic about it. At the end of the video, if you watch to the end, you will see how to turn it into that perfect spiral. Okay, right, so round 3, at the end of round 2, we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, turn our work again, and then into the same stitch as your chain 3, we are going to double crochet, and then we are going to chain 1 and double crochet again. So this time the chain 3 doesn't count as your first stitch. Okay, so that's 1 stitch. So effectively we've worked 3 stitches into that one. Into the next stitch we're going to double crochet again. So it's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, so you're effectively putting 3 stitches in with your chain 1. Again, next one, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Every stitch all the way along. Okay, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch. Okay, and what this does is once you pull it around, what this does is it creates these little gaps here, and it adds a little bit more decoration, but it's mainly just to make it really easy in a minute when we come to doing our pink frilly edging. It just makes it super easy because we're going to be working into these chain 1 spaces, so it just makes it much easier to see, and it's just easier for placement, and it makes it nice and even all the way around. Okay, so continue along working in each stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 chain 1, and then another double crochet in every stitch right until the end. And again, I'll meet you back there in a second. Now come to the end of round 3 and the last of our mint green. It's just worth to note that in the final stitch I've only crocheted 1 double crochet. I haven't done the chain 1 and the second crochet because I find that it keeps the line a little bit neater. It stops it curving around at the edge there. So to finish that one off, all I've done is trimmed off my end of cut my yarn, and then pulled up the loop that was on my hook, pulled that up through, and that's finished that off there, and we can weave the ends in shortly. Now we're going to be starting our trimming, our little frilly edging, and we're going to begin this in the same stitch or same space as our slip knot. So our very first chain we ever created way back at the beginning, that's where we're going to be putting our pink edging in, because what we're going to do is going to work along this edge first, and then we're going to work around the spirals. It just helps give it a nice little finish, like this one here, where you can see it's not just the spirals I've worked around, I've put the edge in there as well. It just ties it in together. So insert your hook into, you don't have to be too specific, but as near to the slip knot as you can. Okay, find your yarn end, so grab your yarn, loop it over your hook, pull it up through the stitch, and then to secure, just yarn over again and pull through, and then pull the tail tight. You can knot it if you prefer. if you want something a little bit more secure. But what I will most probably do once I've finished is I will tie the tail of the pink to the tail of this green here, and then I will weave in the ends and hide it at the end. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, because we've already got that first loop there. So we're going to be working in chains of 5, but because we've got that first loop where I've joined, I'm just going to do the 4 there, and then you're going to insert the hook roughly halfway up across your spinner, so basically into the top of round 2 or the bottom of round 3. Insert your hook, and we're just going to slip stitch into that stitch there. So you just yarn over, pull up your loop and pull it up through the loop of your stitch there. Okay, so there's your first little chain, your little frilly piece, and then again we're going to be chaining 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now turn your work around so that we are going to be out working along the edge, on the outside edge. So now on this one I'm going to be inserting it into this corner here, as near to the corner as you can, and joining that up there just so it's neatly along the edge there. Okay, so again chain another 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now when we're going along the outside of our work, our spiral, we're going to be working into these chain 1 spaces. So you've got your chain 1 space, then you've got a double crochet, chain 1. Okay, so in between the two, so you've got 2 double crochets and either side you've got chain 1 space. We're going to be working our frills into those spaces. It doesn't matter if they're not quite equal, like that one there. You can see I've got one here because I've started my stitch a little bit one over, whereas really I could have done it in that corner there. But it doesn't matter because it's frilly anyway. I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 1 space, and then again chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So skip over the 2 double crochets and work into the next chain 1 space. Okay, and we're going to slip stitch to join. Chain another 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then slip stitch again, skipping the 2 double crochets and into the chain 1 space, slip stitch into there, one last time, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, skip over your double crochets and work a slip stitch into your chain 1 space. And there you can see our little frilly edge is starting to take shape. Okay, and basically you just continue that, working into the chain 1 spaces all the way along right until the end, and then you do the opposite of what you've done at the start here. So you insert your last chain into the very corner, you chain another 5, slip stitch into the top of round 2, or sort of halfway across your width, chain another 5 and then slip stitch in and fasten off as you did with the green. Okay, and I'll meet you back at the end there and we will make a start on our decoration. Okay, so now our main part of the spinner is complete. As I said earlier, obviously the shaping does go awry while you're working with it, but what you do is you find the top of your spinner. Okay, so you find the top, it's the end that doesn't have the slip knot. Okay, so the slip knot is at the base of your spinner. So you get the top, and as if you were working this into a round coaster shape, you just lay it down on top of itself and you keep twisting matching the edges and twisting in the same direction, and keep going round and working your layers around. Keep turning it round and round and round all the way along. It can be a bit fiddly, but it is worth it for the symmetry at the end. Okay, so keep working it round, keep flipping your work round if you need to, it doesn't matter, just make sure it's keeping all the same way up and the edges are met. So you're making like a stack. Imagine like a stack of pancakes, or you've made a load of coasters and you're stacking them on top of each other like that. That's what we're doing. We're winding up our spring, essentially. Okay, the last little bit. Just remember to remove any kinks, any big gaps, like that. And there we go, that's it. Stacked up on itself now. So there you can see it's like a stack of coasters. Like they're all stuck on top of each other. At this point you can block your work now if you prefer, or spray it with starch if you want to stiffen it a little bit more. But now you'll see, now you've stacked it up on top of itself, you see it's much more of an actual spiral shape. Okay, so that's the main body of our spinner done. Now to finish this off, I would tie a little knot back onto itself, the pink there, back onto this pink ridge, tie a little knot there, then trim off the end, or I mean you can weave in the end if you prefer, but to be honest with you, I cheat wherever I can and I trim really short, and then I get a lighter, but obviously be very careful with this, pull back away your work, get a lighter and just wait till the ends just fizzle away, and it sort of blocks the end and it stops it from coming undone. Okay, so that's what I would do that end with the pink, and the same again with the green and the pink here. Remember I said earlier, because these two are basically coming out in the same stitch, I'd feed the pink back up through so it's on the inside, tie a knot into those two yarns, cut it really short and put the lighter on it again, or you can weave your ends in if you prefer, and obviously you would weave your pink back in under your pink stitches there. Okay, so that's the main body done. Now we're going to move on to the decoration. Now this is the one that I've made with my prototype, and that was made with a 3mm hook, the same as my spinner. But what I'm going to do, because it's quite big in proportion to the spinner itself, I'm actually going to drop down to a 2mm hook, the same yarn and the same stitches, but I'm just going to drop down to a 2mm hook just to bring it down a little bit in size so it's a bit more in proportion with the rest of the spinner. Okay, so we'll start that one now. Let me just grab my yarn. So you're going to need your 2mm hook for this. You can keep to the 3mm if you like, but bear in mind that your ornament might be quite big. So with this ornament we're going to be starting with a magic ring, and to do this we're going to yarn over our finger once, yarn over twice and form a cross. Insert our hook facing down underneath the first loop, over the top of the second loop, and we're going to pull that up through under the first loop and turn it so it's facing the ceiling. Then I'm going to grab that yarn there so that it doesn't come undone, yarn over my hook and pull that through the loop that's already on the hook there, and then give it a wiggle and a tweak. To tighten up your knot. Okay, so that's our magic ring. We're now going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to be working 11 double crochets into the ring. Okay, so imagine it's a stitch, so 1 double crochet or UK treble into this, that's 1, and we're going to be doing another 10, so that's 2 until we've got 11. 3, 4, 5, 6, Feel free to close your magic loop up if you feel the need to. 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So our chain 3 at the beginning is going to count as our first double crochet, so we've effectively put 12 into our magic ring. To finish this round off, we're going to chain 1, tighten our magic ring, so just pull the yarn from the beginning, and then we're going to slip stitch into this piece here, the top of our chain 3 from the beginning, or where the top of the post from the first double crochet. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch into here like so, tighten our tail again, and that's our 12 initial double crochet stitches. So on to round 2, we're going to chain 3 again, 1, 2 and 3. Into the same stitch we're going to work another double crochet, so that effectively is 2 double crochets, or a double crochet increase if you prefer that term. Then we're going to do the exact same. We're going to be working 2 double crochets into each stitch around, so we'll end up with 24 stitches in total. Okay, so 2 into every stitch. I'm running out of yarn. Right, we're halfway round, so I'm actually going to pause the video now instead of boring you to death. And I'll meet you back at the end in a moment. So I've now reached the penultimate stitch of round 2. I just wanted to show you this last bit, because what we're going to do, sorry, I've left a stitch in there from a previous take, is we're going to crochet our final 2 double crochets in this stitch here, the one at the bottom of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round. So we're going to put 2 double crochets in here, 1 and 2. They are our final 2, so now you should have 24 stitches on your round 2. We are now going to, we're not going to chain 1, we're just going to slip stitch straight into the top of our first double crochet and pull in. If I've taken my yarn off already from a previous cut, but obviously normally you trim your yarn with your scissors and then draw your loop up, and that's your round 2 finished and your pink finished. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start on the mint green, round 3. We're going to insert our hook. We're going to start from a couple of stitches back behind the pink tail, so we can weave this tail in with our green. So we're going to stay on the same side. We're going to yarn over onto our hook, pull up, a loop, yarn over and attach our green. We're now going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then in the same stitch we're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch as the chain 3. Then we are going to double crochet in the next one. Remember to work your tails in your pink and your green. Into the next one we're going to double crochet once. The next stitch we're going to double crochet increase or insert 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2 in that next stitch. So we start this round with a chain of 3. In the same space as the chain 3 we insert another double crochet. In the next stitch it's a single double crochet, and then in the next we've got 2 double crochets, and we're going to do that another 4 times. So that's 1 in this one, 2 in the next, that's 1 in the next one, this is our second lot, 2 in the next, so our second done, our third set, 1 and 2 into that stitch, and our last set of 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, I'm just going to trim my tail off there because obviously I don't really need that long now. Okay, so we've got our initial chain 3 and the double crochet within that stitch, and then we've got 5 lots of 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 and 1, 2. Okay, now in the next stitch we're going to be working all of these next stitches that I'm just about to say. So we're going to do 1 double crochet into this stitch, so 1 double, 1 double, then 1 treble crochet. In US terms that's a treble, so we yarn over once, we yarn over twice, insert a hook, pull up a loop, so it's the same as the double, you're just yarning over a second time and you're still pulling through just 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops again, yarn over, pull through your 2 loops. Okay, so that's your treble, the US treble or the UK double treble. I'll do that stitch just one more time just in case anybody hasn't done it here. So we've got our double in there, and then in that same stitch we're going to do a treble, so it's a yarn over once, yarn over twice, into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you've got 4 on your hook, yarn over again, pull through just 2, so you've got 3 on your hook, yarn over again, pull through just 2, then you've got 2 left on your hook, yarn over for a third time and through those 2 there, and that is your treble crochet. We're then on top of this treble crochet going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, then we are going to slip stitch back into the first chain that we've just made. So you've got the third chain there, the second chain there, and the first chain here. Okay, so it doesn't matter, you can just go into the front loop, it really doesn't matter. So we're going to slip stitch back into that first chain. Okay, and that will help make our little point. In a moment I will show you the rest so you can see what it looks like. Then we are going to do another treble crochet, So remember again, that's a double treble in UK terms, a treble in US terms. Yarn over twice into that same stitch that we did the other double and treble. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So within that stitch we've got a double crochet, a treble crochet, we've got the chain 3 and the slip stitch back into the first chain, and we've got a second treble crochet. Then we just need to complete this stitch once more back into that same space with 1 double crochet. Okay, so all together in that one stitch we've got a double crochet, a treble crochet, chain 3, slip stitch back into the first chain, a treble crochet and a double crochet. Okay, then it's going to be a double crochet increase or 2 double crochets into the next stitch, or 2 trebles in UK terms, and then 1 into the next stitch, and then repeat that again 4 times. So 2 in the next stitch, once, then 1 in the stitch after, then for our second repeat, 2 into the next stitch, 1 into our third set now, 2 in this one, one into the next, then our final 2 into this stitch, one into the next, and that's that there. So now you need to do one more double crochet increase, so one more set of 2 stitches there, 2 double crochets into that stitch. Now in the next stitch we're going to be working our point like we did on this end here, so we're going to be doing that one again. So again into that stitch we're going to be doing 1 double crochet, 1 treble crochet, a chain 3, another treble and another double. So 1 double crochet, 1 treble, so yarn over once, yarn over twice, remember that's a double treble in UK terms, pull up a loop, pull through 2, up a loop, pull through 2, up a loop, pull through 2. Then we're going to be chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3, slip stitch back into that first chain to create our point. Can be a bit fiddly this bit. Okay, then another treble, so yarn over once, yarn over twice, through 2, oh, I just lost my yarn, yarn over once, twice, back into that stitch, back into that stitch there, pull through 2, pull through 2 and pull through 2, and 1 more double crochet into that same stitch, and there we have the point onto the other end of your ornament. Then we are going to double crochet just in this next stitch here, and then without chaining 1 we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet again, so back into the top here. So you've done your double crochet, your treble, your chain of 3, your double crochet, your treble and your double crochet. Then you are going to double crochet in the next stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch into the top of this one here, and that is your ornament complete. You can give it a bit of shaping, and cut off your tail and pull up your loop as usual. And I will then move on to showing you the assembly of attaching this to the rest of the spinner and the hanging cord for the spinner as well. Okay, so it's time to assemble our spinner and ornament. Usually I would do a chain and create a cord. However, with these wind spinners, I find that they actually spin much better when they're just attached with single strands. So what we're going to do, for a little bit of extra security on the top of the main spinner, is I've got a long piece of yarn and I've doubled it up over itself so that we've got 2 loops. So we've got 2 strands of yarn for the hanging loop, just to make it that little bit stronger. And all I'm going to do is tie a knot in the end of it with all the strands together. Pull it really tight. Pull it up through. So we're going from the bottom up. And then I'm just going to trim the ends off of this. You won't see the knot there because of how I mean, of course you can weave the knot in if you prefer, but you're not going to see it there because of how the spinner sits on the top row there. See what I mean? So that's your hanging cord. Obviously you adjust it to the length that you like. Then we turn our work upside down, so we're on the bottom of the spinner now. Then I'm just going to use a single strand, fold it on itself once like this, pull this loop from the front to the back in the pointed area. That's sort of as near to the tip as you can get of our ornament. It's really fiddly, so just might take a couple of attempts. There we go. So I'm going to pop mine in there. So grab your loop and use the top of the loop to be pulled through with your hook. Of course, I work this ornament in a 2mm hook, and I'm just using the 3mm to try and pull the yarn through. There we go. So that's that one there. Again, we're going to tie a knot. Just the once. Pull really tightly, try and get that knot as small as possible but as secure as possible. Then pull your loop up, and then what I will do is weave in the ends here, one either side, so the knot is sitting right up at the top there of the ornament, so you can't see it, it's going to be concealed within that point. And then I'm going to just weave the ends in and out of the stitches here, and then trim those off. So for attaching to our bottom of our spinner, I'm going to do the same as what I did the opposite end of the top. So I'm going to pull from the bottom up in that very last bit where the pink meets the green, and then pull that loop up there. And then hopefully, if I've got enough, I'm going to simply, rather than doing another knot, because you don't really want a knot there because you will see that one, is pull your decoration up through, feed it through that loop there that we've just made, and then pull it through because we've just created a slip knot. Make sure it's over your chains like so, and then pull it tight, and there you go, that's attached there without any form of knot. Okay, so as I said, with this one, make sure you tuck that knot right up in there in between those 2 stitches at that point, and then weave your ends in there underneath your stitches, and then that is finished. So then it just hangs rather nicely. I can't show you right now, but you've seen my demo video. I'll also pop it on the end of this one as well, so you can see the clip from the prototype as well. But there you go, and that is your frilly spinner and ornament complete. Thank you all again very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Again, if you want to be kept up to date with all the new content, I've got loads coming soon, especially with Christmas around the corner. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. That would be really appreciated. And I think that's everything for now, so happy crocheting.